Okay, well, a little engine problem. I got to replace the water pump to it's a raw water pump to the engine, so it brings the water in from the sea, circulates it through the heat exchanger and through the wet exhaust and back out. And the water pump was leaking, so there was a little bit of water. This is from me taking the water pump off, but there was a drip. So I have a spare water pump. Those little suckers are like 520 bucks, but I got a brand new one, so I'm gonna install it. I got the old one off, but you can maybe see where the thing went in there. And so I'm in the process of doing that, but I discovered when I pulled the old, here's the new water pump, and I put the new fittings on it. So, and then it gets a gasket, and then it gets mounted back on there, and the hoses get hooked up and so forth. But here's the old one, and when I was pulling the fittings off, I found a piece of rubber in there, and that piece of rubber is off an impeller. So I'm curious, because I had changed this impeller before I left. I'm curious if it's a piece of this impeller, which it kind of feels like it is. It's still pretty pliable, but or it's from an old impeller that was put in, who knows, years ago. But what can happen with this, luckily it got jammed in the 90, and that's where it's set until I pulled it apart, and then it dropped out. But this could get pushed down the system. It could get jammed in the heat exchanger, which is another deal. And there's little tiny 3/8 tubes in there, and then you got to get in back of the engine to disassemble that thing. I put that heat exchanger in too, and it took me 6 hours to get the old one out and the new one in. I had to pull fuel pumps off and all that jazz. So anyway, what I'm going to do right now is just kind of open up the old water pump cover and just look at the impeller, and that'll tell me whether the new impeller that I put in, I guess it was March, failed and broke. And then it'll also tell me, you know, if that's the only piece. So if it's broken off of here and this piece seems to fit on there and there's no other broken flukes, I'm pretty sure that there's nothing in the cooling the cooling system. So I'm just going to have a peek. Hopefully it's just an old piece that, because the boat's been around for 50 years. That could be a piece from a past impeller. None of the impellers that I pulled out over the past 2 years have been broken. So if this is broken, then I know it's off this impeller. So that's just going to help me understand that that's all it is. I can get it back off here. Yep, got it. There it goes. There it goes. Yeah, there. It's got a paper gasket on it. Okay. So no, there is all the flukes are intact. So there's some water in there. I'm going to drain that out. So yeah, this is from an old impeller. I'm glad I got that out of there, and I know that I changed the heat exchanger, so there's not it's not like that old heat exchanger's in there with more pieces in there, because the heat exchanger is brand new. This had just broke off and got caught in here, and luckily stuck in the 90, so that's a good thing. Anywho, that's what we're doing today. We'll check you out later. Well, got the water pump replaced. Just running it to test it out right now. I had to let it set for 24 hours because Permatex I used on the gasket. So we're gonna let it run and warm up, and I think we got her. That's a good thing. I'm glad I had next one. Probably can't see that, but it's almost a full moon. I think the full moon's tomorrow. It's a real pretty morning here in Ensenada. Another clear day. It's going to be probably 80 degrees. Pretty nice. Oh man. Do a little walk around here. There's a big big yacht here that fishes all over the world. There's a couple of guys that are on it full time. That thing is crazy. But they go all over the world in that thing and fish. They're headed down to the Sea of Cortez too. Probably after the hurricane season. Right. I don't want to get too far from the boat here. I got to keep an eye on that temp. So anyway, we will check you out later. Have a good one.